Hello everyone, welcome back to another election prediction video. This time I'm going to be doing a 2028 election prediction between Andy Beshear, the governor of Kentucky who recently just won a second term, and governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. So this is just assuming the 2024 election happens. It's probably going to be like a narrow Biden victory, but who knows? It'll probably be a very close election either way. But other than that, as I set up these safe states, I'd highly recommend subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. We're almost getting closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. I think it's totally possible to hit it by the end of the year. But I would greatly appreciate if you were to subscribe if you aren't already. Okay, so almost done setting up all the safe states here. Yep, I'm not affiliating Kentucky. That is Andy Beshear's home state. He might actually have a shot there. But other than that, I think we could go right into it. So Colorado, obviously, which is a safe blue state. Virginia, he is from neighboring Kentucky, and I just think that DeSantis had a little shot to win against a more moderate type of Democrat like Andy Beshear. Moderate Dems typically do very well in Virginia, so I think he'll easily carry it by over 10. Maine at large, I don't really see DeSantis having that great of an appeal. I think Andy Beshear would perform quite well in the rural parts of states. He is from a rural state himself in Kentucky. So I think he would do quite well in Maine and probably do quite decently in Maine second, but I think DeSantis just narrowly hangs on there. In New Hampshire, I think would go down to a likely state. But again, since this is assuming that Biden narrowly wins a second term, there will be a bit of Democratic Party fatigue in giving Democrats another 4-year term. But again, I think it would just go down to the candidates here. Nebraska second, again, it'd still be trending quite Democratic. I think Beshear would perform quite well in that suburban district. Iowa would still hang on to a likely Republican margin, but he would definitely keep it down from a safe Republican state. Ohio, again, just the Republican trends here, and even though DeSantis isn't the best candidate, I would put this as likely Republican. Kentucky, Andy Beshear, he's a quite popular governor, but this is a presidential election. Polarization will make it so he wouldn't be able to flip this state, but he would definitely make it competitive. He would bring it below 10, but again, he would only make it a likely Republican state. So he loses his home state already. The state of Florida, by this point, Florida is probably going to become a Republican stronghold similar to New York. It's just going to become the Republican version of New York, basically. In Texas, again, Andy Beshear would definitely make it a lot more competitive than usual. Probably turn it down to a lean Republican margin or so. Alaska would also shift down to likely Republican. Let's see. New Mexico, Beshear would win New Mexico quite easily against DeSantis, who's quite right-wing here. He wouldn't perform that well in New Mexico. Let's see. I guess we could do... Let's do the Rust Belt states. So I think Beshear would do quite well in Minnesota, quite decent in Michigan, and quite decent in Pennsylvania. I just think that since DeSantis has just went so right-wing on the issues, that would just make him pretty unelectable to a lot of independent voters here, and I just think Beshear overall would be seen as a more populist candidate. He'd have more union backing and win over a lot more union voters in these states, which is also why I have Wisconsin going Democratic as well, thus giving Andy Beshear the win in the 2028 election. But we still have a few more states left to go through here. I guess we could do Nevada and Arizona. Just because of DeSantis signing that 6-week abortion bill, I think that definitely swings Nevada in Andy Beshear's favor, and Arizona, Beshear would definitely be seen as the more moderate candidate, and that's really what you need to be perceived as to win in Arizona. But Georgia and North Carolina, these are the two states that DeSantis would do decent in, I would say. He would do well in North Carolina, probably winning it by a lean margin, but Georgia, Andy Beshear would feel quite decent in the South, but again, after years of Democratic control, I could just see DeSantis narrowly winning here. But then you have to assume that there's a lot of Democratic trends going on in Georgia, especially with Atlanta's population growth, and that kind of makes me want to give it back to Andy Beshear. So pretty much the same as the 2020 election map, just kind of how I see it going so far, just with a lot more different margins or so. But other than that, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching.